mean, happy to get started. We're gonna kick it off with some interesting stuff from the week. So let me start sharing my screen. We've got some interesting stuff this week. So a lot of them I'm really excited about, and everything's moving so fast. I don't know, it's tough. Hopefully, actually, I don't know if you guys are gonna be able to see my screen. Let me reshare with audio. You guys should be able to hear my audio now. Cool. So first thing, I'm pretty big into music, and I was really hyped about this video where they talk about, historically, right? Like there've been covers of pop songs or other just like music in general that gets turned into these videos on YouTube where people actually like make this sheet arrangements, and then they made an AI that can do that. So what that looks like is they've got a Hugging Face Spaces here. And if you come here and you don't have anything loaded, you can take any kind of audio sound. So here's The Spins by Mac Miller, and you can convert it, and then it takes about 50 seconds, and it'll spit out a MIDI file for you. And if you're interested in what that looks like, you can take these MIDI files and put them into any tool that you've got. So there's like MIDI sheet music, but for those who are actually into music production, you can do a lot more with MIDI files. But it makes it come out not so bad. So like this is Something About Us by Daft Punk, and I thought it came out pretty good. We'll let it run. Oh, actually, I don't know if you guys can see this second file that I'm pulling up now.
Could you drop the link when you get a chance too? Because I'm definitely going to use this all the time.
Let me drop it into the chat room for this call. Open chat. Cool. Yeah, so when it finishes up, you're going to get something like this. And you're going to get a MIDI file, so I'm just going to let it run for a sec. Hopefully you guys can hear it once it plays. Gets through these rests at the beginning. Anyway, I think it's pretty cool that we've got something like this, that they've got something like this working out of the box. So anybody can mess with it. You guys can all try it out right now. There's a lot of stuff coming up, popping off like that. There's a lot of stuff going on like that. Like this, this is a video from UC Berkeley. They trained I think I'm sharing the wrong screen again. All right. Sweet. Here's a video from UC Berkeley where they trained a robot how to walk in 20 minutes from scratch. This is also really interesting. I'm personally really excited about the robot and machine learning kind of combination here. This uses something called reinforcement learning to optimize a policy, in this case, likely standing straight up or moving. And it just, tries it a whole bunch of times in a simulated environment, but also in the real world to be able to learn how to walk. So
that's amazing that he was able to avoid all the now 9999s. That was great.
Yeah, he dodged all of those. So if you're interested, you can look up Vision Locomotion on GitHub. There, you can read their paper. A few other things coming out this week. There was a big AI mega thread, so you guys should definitely check this one out. I'll throw this in the chat. It talks anything from Stable Diffusion VR. So this is a not real space, but you could set that back to into a VR headset. So as you can see here, they're really pushing what's possible. They've got AR, they've got text to 3D, text to motion, so you can tell a human to do something, text to app. So people are still working on that. You can create avatars of yourself. That's something we're working on right now. There's just a whole bunch of really interesting stuff here, like sports. New algorithm predicts movements of 80% with more than 80% accuracy. I'm pretty sure this was volleyball. Taking product photos, right? Like the Stable Diffusion, that's a lot of what we're working on. You can see some of like the impacts in a video, how you can use it to edit in some pretty impressive features here. You've got also full generated videos from this kind of content. So these are all generated videos from text. So this is from Google's Imagen. There's also, in VR, including, like in painting on your Stable Diffusion. So you can augment whatever you're actually creating. I think that's like a really interesting use case here, among other things. And then I think the last one that I wanted to show off was what we've been working on. So recently we worked on getting multiple concepts trained into Stable Diffusion. So in this case, we're trying to get both someone wearing goggles and Mr. Beast in there. And we were able to do so using this new repo that came out. Shared some of those pictures in the Nouner Builders chat, but I'll just pull up one to show here, and it ended up looking pretty good. Like this is like not all of them are this good for sure. Like there's definitely some issues, but we're making a lot of progress. And one of the things that I kind of wanted to end me ranting on was what we have capabilities of from a from our AI art pipeline kind of perspective. So I'm going to show off kind of like a quick video of what you can do with some of, one of my friends is a producer in LA, and he was messing with it a bit and was able to create a cool little video that kind of showcases what you can do with it. And I'll show that demo super fast and then hand it over to Honk to show off what we've got working in our tool. All right, so let me pull this up real quick. All right. So y'all should be able to hear this. Let me know if you can. And this can all be up-res, so increase the quality. We were just kind of testing the like what you can do, what visuals you can make. Yeah, so that's just kind of an example of what you can do kind of as a, not a final product, but that's kind of like the idea is that you're storyboarding with these different images, and then it can progress through all of it. It can sync it to the music automatically. And all of this is just out of the box right now. We haven't, it is very possible to make this widescreen and to make this, full HD. So we're working towards that. But on top of that, we're working towards making sure that you guys can have access and that people have access to it. So with that, I'll turn it over to Honk to show off what he's been working on.
The new season of Nouns Vision looks pretty wild.
Hey guys.
Go ahead, Honk.
So give me just 1 second to fire something up. All right, we should be good. I'm gonna go ahead and show an example of what happens whenever you load something up. Here, how do I share my screen? Here we are. All right. So this is a video of kind of an end result, just because making videos takes a long time. I've already added some images here, as well as some time between them that signifies how long they should be on the screen. And whenever you're making this, you can see, so this one doesn't have music to it. That's just music I was listening to in the background, but I'll be adding that this week. And this takes quite a bit of time. So, that's that's just something that we're going to end up setting up a separate server for. So the whole idea is that you have this ability to generate images and you can save them. Saved images will go down here. And you can make this a giraffe, whatever. You can be more imaginative than me.
And to add on to that point of it taking a long time, so the way we're probably going to do this is you're going to be able to kind of, and the reason why Hunk's been working so hard to get this kind of storyboard tool working is so that you can spend some time, actually crafting the video that you want to create, because we're probably going to have to limit the amount of generations everybody can do on a daily basis, so that we can have those turned around on in a timely manner, so that we don't have to have a huge massive queue because people are generating a ton of them. So there's definitely going to be this is hopefully where people are going to spend some time to really craft the video that they're trying to create, and then we'll offload the actual generation to it to another server. So you'll probably click generate and then get an email back in a bit with a link to your content. But that's what we're thinking at the moment.
Yeah. So so you can go ahead in here and save some images. At some point we'll have sessions, something like that, so that way you can come back to this. And then you can choose which images you want to add to your video. The thing that you see behind the image, the little 4 seconds, is all right, I want this image, and then I want there to be 4 seconds of variations of this image, 4 seconds of variations of that image. Maybe you want to see more of the hamster.
Are you thinking about is time code on the the roadmap? But for now, you're just putting because if you're talking about 3 minutes, it'd be hard to kind of be all right, well, I have an image plus 4 seconds plus 5 seconds plus 4 seconds plus 3 seconds. Is there a way to kind of maybe even if it just showed the total runtime, might be helpful?
Yeah, the thing is that I just need to make a custom sort of widget for that. This was just being able to get something out the door quickly, and also this process of generating a video, which is just not that many seconds, is going to take 3 minutes. And so to generate one which is 3 minutes will take hours. So that's going to be a background process that happens.
And I can talk a bit more to that. So two parts of that. One, being able to add audio. That's something that Hunk's already working on. I mean, and Hunk was showing me already. Some of the an audio player. The goal is to be able to play the audio that you're going through, and then for it to to have a cursor show you which images are where, and you can just listen to a song, click put it here, and then it'll put it there in the song automatically. And so that's something that we're definitely working towards. And then in terms of generation, because it's going to take probably an hour to generate a long form of this, I think that goes to kind of our rollout plan of what we're trying to do to get this kind of get this really working well for people, because there are a lot of optimizations coming out. I actually one came out literally this morning that was showing that we can get that there's a new scheduler that came out that reduced the amount of steps to get a good image from 50 down to 15 or 20. So that itself is already half the speed improved, which is exciting. And there are more things coming out like that. So likely what we're going to focus on, in terms of this initial rollout, is build this tool to have it work, right? It's not going to be able to work necessarily at a large scale immediately, but what we're going to do is we're going to work with people who are who have already voiced high intent to work with this and are impactful in the space and are already artists. I know Woody mentioned already wanting to work with this. Huge shout out to Joshua to introducing us to a really awesome producer that I got to meet up for lunch with last week, who also was voiced potentially interested in using something like this. So that's kind of, and Hunk's showing the video on screen now. So that's kind of the approach that we're thinking of taking, is building this tool to a level where it works really well. Maybe not super scalable at first, but it works really well. Get some really great content out of that with some really motivated stakeholders from internal and external, and then have them create really great content while we work on improving kind of the queue system, the ability for everybody to have access to it, and then you get people inspired with that awesome content that they've created.
Hell yeah! And this first step is awesome. I'm not trying to I think this tool is going to be so cool, and it has so much potential. So thank you guys so much for pushing forward on it.
Definitely. Thanks, Joshua. Thanks, Honk. Yeah, so that was kind of like our update on like the rollout plans for it as well. So that's kind of covers our AI media side pillar. I'm happy to take more questions about that at the end. But the second big piece of what we're working on here is our knowledge hub. So excited to share a little bit of some updates we got there as well. I mean, a lot of the updates are kind of behind the scenes. So again, huge shout out to Steve, who's been really trucking on this. Pushing forward a lot of quality of life upgrades. Like this is a system that I think that is close to being ready for scale. And we've got a few things that we've started working on. So proposals everyone's familiar with, but now you've got a nicer way to kind of go through it. You've got all of your summaries here as usual. You can create edits, yada yada yada. But now you've also got audio. So audio is working, and you can see, so this is our test file from our Nouns AI pod from last week. Automatically generates a summary here, talks about whisper, automatic podcast, image text to image synthesis, right? Like there's a lot of different content going on here. It's not perfect, right? We got Stable diffusion, right? We got stable diffusion, hunts, right? Instead of necessarily like honk. That's why we've got these create edit buttons where you can make your own edit of it, change like a few of the small issues that it's got. We can always work on, reducing this length if it's too long, if people want it shorter. That's all up in the air, but the pipeline's working right now. And what that looks like is, if you're coming into this site and you haven't connected before, and you haven't gotten whitelisted, you're gonna be asked to connect your wallet and sign in. You're gonna want to DM Rocco. We're gonna update that when we move it to production. But you'll be able to have access to uploading audio. Anyone will be able to come in here that's been kind of whitelisted. You'll be able to browse your audio file. And so if I've got an example here, let me take one of our older calls, or I think I have the script for our AI Nouns video. Yeah, cool. So upload something like this, and you've got your nice little progress bar. It's going to take longer for longer updates. You're going to be able to name something. This is a test, and you'll be able to give it a subtitle. Recording of our AI Nouns promo video. And because this is only a minute long, the summary is obviously not going to be as great, but you can add your tags here. So, AI, and then maybe, discussion, sure. And then we submit it, and it'll go ahead and tell you that it'll go ahead and submit it. It's going to say it's not yet available, but if you wait just a sec, we'll be able to go back to our homepage and check that out. So this is one I did literally earlier this morning for an AI generated summary of our last week's call, and came out pretty solid. We can take something like this and definitely boil it down. This is the verbose option for our bullets. So we can definitely take a non-verbose option if we want to shorten it. We can also potentially have both. I guess looking for feedback here. Do we think this is too much content for a summary of an hour-long call?
Maybe like if there was like another button that said like turn it into a Twitter thread.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I think that's something that we're working towards as well. It's about trying to find what is the really usable format. So it sounds like, in terms of Twitter thread, I think that's definitely a long-term goal, but in terms of having this content on this page be usable, I think if we are trying to shorten it down to something like this, we might want to end up using the non-verbose version.
Hey Shep,
kind of
how about
both.
how about a button that says enhance, and every time you click enhance, it gets shorter and shorter?
What about when we go the opposite way? So every time you click enhance, it gets a little bit longer.
Yeah, for sure. No, I mean, I was thinking you could have two different buttons that, if you want a short summary or a long summary. I mean, maybe not right now, but eventually.
Yeah, I guess that's what I was saying, like with the Twitter thread, where it's like Twitter threads are like a shorter summary of an even shorter summary of everything. But I don't know. I like having both personally.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, so we can definitely do that. It's just going to be one additional call to the API to get a non-verbose summary, and I'm pretty sure the calls are a cent. So definitely we have that option. So I think we'll try and implement something like that. I think that makes sense. I do think that if we have like a gist to be helpful, but I do think that having something like this length is also helpful because you can dive in and get a more detailed summary. And we're also going to always have the ability to drill down to the original full transcript. So if you ever really wanted to go in there and check all the way against the raw material that we have, you'll always be able to. That's kind of our goal with this. So if we come back here and like we refresh our homepage, let's see. I think I just broke our testing server. Sorry, Steve. Asking it to do too much.
Yeah, I'm on the free tier of Hasura. I'll upgrade us.
Yeah, no, all good. This is just our staging environment. You guys can expect to have access to like a full developer environment of this. In the coming week. So if you guys have access to this, and if you guys have needs for something like this, Toady, looking at you, and I don't think we have CDT in here, but anybody. Sorry.
I want this. Are you saying like we could fork this and like connect it to our own server and use it on other stuff if we wanted to?
So goal would be, so right now what we're doing with this, and actually great question, like a great kind of segue, because this brings us into kind of like what our goal is with this. So you got this is like my ultimate, this is the vision that I'm most excited about in the AI pod in general. Obviously like the AI media is super exciting. But what I'm really excited about is this is the start of our knowledge hub. So right now we've got proposals, we've got audio, right? So this is going to be anything audio, like any nounish audio, right? So any type of podcasts or weekly videos or whatever that's nounish, right, can get uploaded here. And the last piece, or not the last piece, but the third piece that we're going to put in here is huge shout out to Brian who worked to put together a full archive of the old Discord. But we're going to upload all the Discord content into this knowledge hub. Then what we're going to add are 3 key features. Those are going to be the 3 features for our minimum viable product. The first is semantic search. So we're going to create the ability for you guys to semantically search. So when I say semantically, I mean it looks at the semantic meaning of words. So if you search joy, you'll probably also get results of like happiness, even though they're not the exact word for word match, they semantically mean similar things. So you can semantically search across all of it. You'll be able to search across proposals. You'll be able to search across any audio file that was uploaded. So you'll be able to hear, like anytime, if an AI pod was what you search, you'd be able to see any video call that's been passed into this, that where they talked about the AI pod, and look up who was talked about it. Go back to the source of where that information came from, as well as the old Discord content, right? And that's just to show the proof of concept. In theory, we could add additional channels that could then feed into it as well that could be searchable. So for example, if the square in the Noun Square Discord wants to be indexed in the Knowledge Hub for nouns as well, it can be. Rocco would be added to the server, and all the messages from that channel would also be indexed and also be searchable from this central place.
Yes.
And so the 3 features that we're trying to add are search. The second would be in those Discord servers that we have Rocco in, being able to answer any question that was asked word for word and answered word for word in this database, right? So if somebody asks like, hey, where do I go to learn more about nouns? And then, there's a bunch of answers about, hey, go to Noun Center or go to this or go to this. Rocco could immediately start a thread and be like, hey, check out this, and this, based on responses that have happened previously. And then the last piece would be kind of a stretch goal. Instead of just surfacing content that has directly been answered before, trying to hopefully be able to surface content that's relevant to a conversation that's going on. So for example, like, hey, has anyone thought about, using AI with nouns? Then you'd search it or you just be talking about that in Discord, and then boom, a thread would pop up with Rocco, be like, hey, here's some relevant information from our Knowledge Hub. So that's kind of the vision of what this is. It's really, hopefully, being the centralized connector for a lot of our decentralized streams of information coming in. And I hope you guys see the vision here where, proposals, audio, and Discord are not the only pipelines that you could build to come in, and having kind of an interface where you could search across all of it, but then also have an assistant actually in discrete discords to provide answer, to surface content from that repo in front of people without them having to go search for it themselves, are things that I'm really excited about, and hopefully that resonates with you guys as well.
Amazing.
Thanks, Josh.
Can you also make sure that it indexes Prop House?
Yeah. I mean, so Prop House is one. So we're pushing the first three we're doing: proposals, audios, Discord. As soon as we got that working, we want to push for search, and that intelligent QA. But then once we've got that, it's all hands on deck. We're gonna try and find a way to make it easy for people to like add or request additional information to pipeline into the Knowledge Hub, and also have Rocco be able to get added to different Discord servers. It would make it even easy as adding Rocco to a call like this, to have it automatically indexed, summarized, uploaded to here, and accessible.
That's awesome.
It's pretty cool.
I'm
Is it like a roadmap item to like be able to communicate back out to places from here?
So you mean like pumping out content to Twitter, pumping out content to like email, something like stuff like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think one of the things we've been talking a lot about is that we think it makes sense to give people the option, or likely ask to have an email associated with your wallet. Obviously, there's no like verification or whatever, like can be whatever. Reason being, eventually, hopefully, you can curate what kind of eventually, hopefully, this information becomes too much to deal with just by looking at the raw feed of information coming in, and you'll be able to do that. I'm envisioning kind of something like TweetDeck. But you'll also be able to kind of like focus on like the tags, right? Or the content that you want to be notified of, and then have that just feed directly to, an email or something, or whatever's the easiest way to communicate for you. So yeah, that's on the roadmap. The goal is just making sure that we get that, getting it working is going to be a little easier said than done. But as soon as it's working, then, sky's the limit. Then it's scaling up the data coming in and improving the content of data coming out. And
there's something like interesting about surfacing like conversations that are happening, or like say there's like a specific type of idea that gets mentioned across a bunch of different places by different people, and Rocco's like, oh, here's how many, everyone's talking about this. You guys should talk together, or some.
That is 100% the goal. Yes, that is exactly what I'm trying. Like, there have been, I don't know about you guys, but I've worked like quite a few different places. Like, consulted on a few different projects. And anytime you're in like a really big organization, which Nouns is becoming, you've got a lot of information in different places that is not helpful to people coming in, or people that don't already know about those repositories of knowledge. So the goal here is to do that, right? Like, if somebody joins one of these disparate servers and is like, hey, has anybody thought about doing AI nouns, right? Like, it'd be like, hey, there are calls literally every week in the Noun Square Discord talking about this kind of stuff. You should check it out, right? Like, that is the goal, is to try and be able to support, but not only onboarding, but then also, those people who are very into the ecosystem, but don't necessarily have time to keep up with everything. Because I don't know if anyone, there's so much, I don't know about you guys, but at least for me, it's been kind of like a whirlwind keeping up with everything recently, because there's just so many people working on so many cool things, like cool nounish things and projects.
Well, I think like you said, like at scale, it's like ask any one person, like what's everything going on at Google or at Alphabet, right? Like that's like, you can't answer that question.
Yeah, and so like legitimately, we're hoping to build something that solves not a problem that's not exclusive to nouns, right? Like if you think about this concept, it's building a tool that can handle inflows of information in a variety of formats and enable you to synthesize data from it in a better way. it's almost like build your own search engine, kind of. And I think that, I mean, I would love to have access to a tool like this for, like ML machine learning research, just being able to dump in the new machine learning papers that come out on a few different sources and, have it spit out a summary of, what were the papers that came out today. Like, that'd be sick for me. And I'm hoping that we'll be able to build something that's a little bit customizable that can serve that niche, or serve that kind of use case for a lot of different, end goals.
Could you like forward email chains?
Yeah. So like passing in emails into it as well. Yeah, I mean, so like long term, email right now not on our roadmap for this initial push, but yeah, I mean that's kind of like the vision, is like you can pass in. Like the reason why we're starting with Discord is just because again, this is right now I'm 100% focused on Nouns, right? Like I want to make sure that we build something that Nouns DAO can use and get a lot of use out of, and so that's why like our focus is on Discord, proposals, and on audio, because to me it seemed, and thanks for shouting out Prop House. I think Prop House is another huge repository of information, like Discourse, right? Also another huge repository of information. So starting with those things that I think could have a lot of value to the organization, and then see if people are using it, and if people are using it and think that it's a pretty good idea and could justify like additional work. That's one of the things I've been really fired up about over the past couple weeks. Cool. All right. So that was all we got for this week. Some huge progress again. Big shout out Honk, Steve, crushing it. Martin also been crushing it. You're working on improving designs for our knowledge base, so that once we have functionality out, we can have it a little bit more usable, have a better user experience. So you guys can expect to see something like that coming down the pipeline. Was a trooper, dealing with some illnesses. So just huge shout out to the whole pod. A lot of progress, a lot of work being put in, and some exciting stuff coming out of it.
Awesome. Thanks, you guys. As always, I'll make sure a recording gets up a little later today. For those that might have missed the visuals, especially if you were joining us on Twitter, you'll be able to see the video with the audio on our YouTube later today.
Sweet. Yeah, thank you. And if you guys want access to the audio tool when it's up, send me a ping. You can DM me or Rocco on Twitter, and we'll get you into there as soon as it's up. Sweet. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks,
and we'll see you guys back here next week.